Alright, thanks very much for listening into the Mental Health Radio. Now, have you ever watched someone leave a painful relationship? They swear they were finished and then return a few weeks later. Or perhaps that person has been you, who has been going through tumultuous times, life tribulations because of your toxic relationship. You knew the relationship was hurting you. You cried more than you smiled. You felt anxious whenever their phone went unanswered. You kept explaining the same pain, yet nothing changed. Then one day, you gathered that courage to leave, but after some time, you started missing them. Not necessarily because the relationship became healthier, but because life without them felt unfamiliar. I don't know whether you relate. We've seen very many people out there that decide to leave the relationships. They go away when they have promised everyone who knows them, I'll never return. I've seen enough. I'll never return. But a few days later, a few weeks later, a few months later, they return. Psychology helps us understand this pattern. The human mind often prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar uncertainty. You know, familiarity gives us a sense of predictability, and the human being loves that kind of predictability. You know their arguments, you know how long their silence usually lasts, you know what to say when they become angry. You have learned how to survive within that relationship. Outside it, you don't know what comes next. So you decide to feel like, anyway, I'm used. This is the person I know. This is the person I fell in love with. Then when you return, the insults begin again. Now, this unpredictable movement between pain and affection creates what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. When kindness appears without warning, you begin waiting for the next good moment. The rare moments of affection start carrying more emotional weight because you suffered to receive them. It resembles waiting for a message from someone who has ignored you for days. Do you understand that feeling? You keep checking your phone and say, what's happening? Why isn't he sending me a message? I miss the message. So you keep checking the phone. Now, when the message finally arrives, the relief feels like love. Yet relief from distress is not the same as emotional safety. Your early experiences also matter, because we are trying to understand why do we all keep going back. Your earlier experiences also matter. If you grew up around inconsistent affection, emotional absence, frequent conflict or rejection, instability, so this kind of abuse might feel familiar. Actually, to you, a calm relationship might even feel strange or boring. Not because it lacks love, but because your mind learned to associate love with anxiety, waiting, emotional struggle. There are some people who will say, my husband is boring. Because everything seems normal, everything seems peaceful. They want this kind of intermittent reactions in the relationship. This does not mean you enjoy being hurt. It means your mind often returns to what it recognizes. That's why I said familiarity over unpredictability. So, before returning to someone who repeatedly hurts you, pause and ask yourself, do I miss this person, or do I miss having someone? Am I returning because the relationship has changed, or because loneliness feels uncomfortable? Do their actions show change, or am I holding onto another promise? And most importantly, do I feel loved in this relationship, or do I spend my time trying to earn love? Leaving a painful relationship involves more than walking away from a person. You also leave routines, you leave the shared plans, the emotional dependency, and the hope that things will improve. That's why people sometimes live physically while remaining emotionally attached. If this describes your experience, do not judge yourself. Speak with someone you trust. Consider professional support if you can. Rebuild your routines and give yourself time to tolerate the unfamiliar. Sometimes what you call love is familiarity. And healing begins when you stop asking, how do I get them back? And start asking, why did pain feel like a place I needed to return to? My name is Kakinda Adrian. I'm a counseling psychologist, and thanks very much for keeping it up always onto the Mental Health Radio. I believe in you.